Welcome to episode 31 of Daryl Show Your Work. And in this video, I will be configuring the intrusion detection system Suricata for use. So briefly go over what Suricata is, not to be mistaken for the meerkat-like animal. It's an open source network intrusion detection system and an intrusion prevention system that provides high performance network traffic analysis and security monitoring. So, um, uh, just to briefly just overview IDS, it basically detects any type of known it detects any sort of malicious behavior. So it could be behavior based, it could be signature based, anything that it may detect as as some sort of a intrusion. It will alert the SOC analyst or the incident response team to act accordingly, and they can make the decision whether it's a false positive, true positive, and anything else. Where intrusion prevention system goes a step further, it also detects intrusions and also takes steps to prevent the intrusion. Again, it may do things like isolate the machine that is or the device that it's detecting an intrusion from the actual network until it could be determined whether or not it's a false positive or a true positive, or it could block traffic coming into that particular device. So it's basically whatever set of rules that you may establish as far as what steps that IPS will take. But moving on from there, we're going to go into our first configuration activity, which with Suricata, which is ensuring that we on our machine here have the necessary package for managing software repositories, because we will need to install some repositories for Suricata. So in order to do so, I'm going to type in the command sudo apt-get install, and this is the typically what you would type in to install any sort of software remotely into your Linux distribution. Then I'm gonna say -y software properties -common. All right. So again, what this is going to do, this is going to ensure that we have the necessary package for managing software repositories. All right, because after beyond this step, we're going to have to install Suricata's software repository to ensure that we have the necessary configurations and features of Suricata in order for it to operate. All right, so I'm hit enter. All right, because I'm doing sudo, need to enter in my password. Okay, all right, so that's done. All right, so then the next thing is for us to add suricata-stable repository to our system. All right, in order to do that, I'm just going to go back in my history here, and I'm going to modify our apt-get command. And this time I'm going to say atp. Matter of fact, I may have to, let me see, sudo. No, let's do sudo add-apt. Now we're going to say repository, because we're trying to get um, Suricata's repository of different features and updates. All right, so oisf. Oops. I don't know how to spell today. Sorry about that. All right, Suricata. Then I'm going to specify the stable repository. All right, so I'm just basically telling Linux here to which particular repository to get, and again, that's the suricata-stable repository. All right, so I'm gonna hit enter. I hit enter again. All right, so we have those that repository for Suricata. Now we need to make sure that all the repositories that we have installed on our distribution here is up to date. So it shouldn't take that long because there shouldn't be that too many repositories installed on here. So we're gonna go back. We're gonna use our original apt-get install um, command, except now we're going to say install suricata. Oh, I'm sorry. You know what? Before we jump, I jumped ahead of myself. We're updating -y. All right. So again, what this is going to do, um, it is going to update all of our installed repositories, so including the suricata stable one that we just downloaded. And again, it shouldn't take that long, so because not a lot of repositories should be installed on our distribution. All right, let's see. Let's try that again just to make sure. Make sure my syntax is right here. Maybe update that one. So that should be good. All right. Let's try again just to make sure. Okay. All right. So the next thing we're going to do is to actually install Suricata itself. All right. All right. So we're saying suricata-y. All right. It's going to just take a few seconds. Shouldn't take too long to download the application. Okay, so it looks like we have Suricata now. So one thing we're going to do to be going to begin the actual configuration of the application itself. So I'm going to go into the main configuration file, and I'm going to view the default IP range because we need to make sure that that we're putting our own internal IP range inside of here. So what that's going to do, it's going to filter out the traffic that originates from our network and focus Suricata's analysis on the external traffic that may pose a threat. So, but in order for it to do that, they has to know what IP addresses to filter out. So, to get started doing that, do sudo, and then we're going to use our text editor on Suricata's main configuration file, and that is located in etc suricata, and then it is called suricata.yaml. It's in a YAML markup language. All right. So I'm gonna hit enter to enter into that. All right. So we're gonna have to update a couple of things here in the configuration file. So the first thing we need to modify is what's defined here in the in this un messaged out portion of it where it says home net. All right, so we're going to adjust the IP range here to fit out and then put an outsider address so it knows that anything within that network to filter out and and focus more on external threats than internal threats. All right, so in order to do that, we need to open up a new tab. All right, so let's find out what our let's find out a few things about our network interface here. So I'm gonna put IPA. All right. So if we look here, we're operating on interface ENS32. That's where we are. And so this is the CIDR address for our network. All right. So these are all the machines that are on our network. So by entering in this inside of Suricata, I'm going to tell it that, hey, filter out all addresses within this IP range and just focus on any analysis that you do on external traffic or any other IP addresses that are outside of the range of these IPs. All right. And then another thing that we need to take note of is our interface here. This ends 32 because we're going to have to define that in our configuration file too. Suricata knows specifically where to look as far as filtering out that particular internal traffic. All right, so we're going to jump back here to our configuration file. And matter of fact, I'm just copy while we're in here. Let me see. Where you okay? We're right here. And I'm going to copy that CIDR address. All right. And so now I'm going to delete the default IP range in here and put in our CIDR address, which which defines all of the, oops, and I should not, okay, hold on. Enter in some, let's go back up here. Okay. All right. Didn't jump too far down. All right. All right. Then I'm going to paste that site address inside here again, which defines all of the devices within the subnet that we're running on. And it's going to filter out any IP address that falls within this range. Now we need to go a bit further down to tell Suricata what what interface that we're operating on. I have to define that in here too. All right, so and unfortunately, I know some Linux savvy people saying, "Well, why won't you do a where is a control W?" And that's because here in my lab, I know some of the control related commands here that I could do on a type board that just don't work properly. So unfortunately, I have to manually scroll down through this long file, but it shouldn't be too far down here. It's just a little far, but not too far. But remember, anytime that you want to easily navigate through a long file like this in a text editor, you can do a control W, which is called where is, and that would take you to exactly to where in the particular document you're trying to go. All right, it's down a little further. Okay, there we are. All right. Go up a little bit more. We finally made it. All right. Okay, so right now it has the default interface listed as ether net 0. So we're going to change that to ENS 32. All right. So now that we have those two settings defined here in the configuration file, I'm gonna do Control X. And that's gonna give me my option to save. I'm gonna say yes, and I'm gonna hit enter. All right. So now that we have those two settings defined, now let's make sure that we have the most up-to-date rule set for Suricata. So in order to do that, to install any sort of updates now to it, we're going to do sudo, and we're going to say suricata-update. All right, again, this is going to just update the IDS and IPS's rule set just to make sure that we have all access to all potential rule sets that we can set for the application. So I'm hit enter. Oh, put suricata, not suricata. All right, let's just tighten up my syntax a bit here. All right. All right, and it's downloading whatever is missing here, if anything. So if you notice on the bottom here where it says testing with Suricata, so that dash T defines that it's testing. And what we're going to do, even though it's testing it while it's downloading any missings or rule sets, we're going to do our own manual testing too after the installation. So when I put this dash T on the command line, you already know that um, testing mode. All right, so as promised, we're going to do our own testing here. It's just a quick command line. So sudo suricata, and then we're going to say dash capital T for testing, and then lowercase c, and this is where we define what what um what file we're testing, and of course we're testing the settings here that we just configured. All right, then we'll say suricata.yaml. Oops. All right, just checking my syntax here. I believe we should be good. All right, so let's test this configuration file. All right. So based on the feedback we got, it says the configuration provided was successfully loaded. So it looks like we're good to go as far as our configuration settings. It didn't find anything anomalous or misconfigured in the IDS and IPS, so which is always a good thing. All right, so and that's going to help reduce any sort of false positives or false negatives, anything like that. So then next thing we're going to do here, we're going to restart Suricata, and that's to ensure that our configuration changes take effect. All right, so we're going to restart the running service, the Suricata running service here on our system. So I'm going to say sudo system control and tell it to restart. Then I have to specify what I want restarted, and that's suricata dot not dot service. All right. Again, this is going to restart Suricata, and again, this is to help ensure that our configuration changes take effect. All right. And now I'm going to start up Suricata, but I'm also going to do it where it's going to ensure that it continuously monitors all functionality upon the system boot. So now it's going to boot up with the system, and it's going to automatically start up as our system boots up. All right. So to do that, I'm gonna say sudo. Well, let me see. I can go back to my history. All right. And this time, no, instead of restart, I'm gonna say enable suricata service again. So this is going to have it for the suricata IDS and IPS to boot up each time the system boots up. All right, and so that's pretty much some basics on how we can configure Suricata to at least be able to do its basic to be available to do its basic functionalities. Not necessarily diving into any sort of configuration or rules or anything in this file, but I wanted to show how do we download the Suricata IDS system, and how do we configure it for it to be able to function as a IDS and IPS, and just um, that basic configuration. So please like, share, and subscribe, and most importantly, show your work. And until next time, take care of yourself, and God bless.